and I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look,
we began this conversation before this debate. You know, one of the things was, would either candidate look like the caricature that the other campaign has been trying to paint of him? And at the end of the day, Joe Biden looks like the caricature that conservative media has been painting. And there were no clips tonight, right? This was, you saw it before your eyes. Look, I don't want to just tell you what I think here, Tom. I've been talking to a lot of leaders in the Democratic Party, electeds, coalition leaders. There's a full-on panic about this performance.
Wow. Wow. I am still in shock at what the media did to Joe Biden last night. First, his campaign threw this man to the wolves because these people know damn well his mind is shot and he's senile. But immediately, as soon as the debate ended, the left-wing media, the media who's been trashing Trump for years, who's been carrying water for Joe Biden, for the Democrats, hiding all their flaws, even back to the Obama years, hiding all of his flaws, and trying to propagandize the American people and convince them that Joe Biden is completely fine, his health is totally good, just like the doctor's report released some months ago. Oh, there's nothing wrong, he's totally fine, everything's a-okay. And if you say anything, you just a lying sack of shit. This same media completely destroyed Joe Biden right after the debate ended. And we're going to get into some clips of some of these notable propaganda media hosts who've been carrying water for Joe Biden for years. But let's talk a little bit about the debate. We don't have to go in deep detail about the debate. It was an hour and a half, roughly 2 hours, something like that. But we know the policies of Joe Biden, the Democrat Party, and we understand the policies of Trump. So we don't have to go into the nitty gritty of that. What we need to discuss is how Joe Biden looked, how Trump looked, and the media reaction, because that's the most interesting aspect, and that's going to be the biggest takeaway from this debate. So Joe Biden looked like a frail old man who was barely hanging on. And I was actually surprised that he was able to stand up. His voice was raspy. He was stuttering bad. He was shaking. You can visibly see his chest moving up and down. He was breathing really heavy at times. Just looked old, tired, sickly, and frail. And let's just look at a couple of excerpts from the debate.
Making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
This bipartisan deal, more fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues, said, "Don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically."
So this man, his speech is just off, his voice is just off. And a lot of people are saying, damn, his voice is so raspy and he can barely breathe. Well, some of the medications, some of the drugs for dementia, one of the side effects of some of these drugs is hoarse voice. It can mess up your throat, impact your throat. And that's probably what happened. They probably injected him with something, pumped him up with something. He was at Camp David for days, away from cameras, chilling. They were trying their best to just rest him, recharge his batteries, recharge the old corpse so they can drag him out there. And whatever the hell they pumped him up with probably had some type of side effect. Or his body is just not reacting the way they wanted to these drugs, whatever the hell they're pumping him up with. So he goes out there and he's just old, weak, tired, and frail. And his voice is extremely hoarse. Just, ugh. And this man is still going to pull in 60, 70 million votes. His cognitive function was kind of off too. He was trying to recall facts and figures, dates, when this happened, that happened, who did this, who did that. He couldn't do it. He was just constantly stumbling. He even tried to challenge Trump to a game of golf at one point, and he was kind of incoherent even doing that. Because, like I've been saying for the longest, this man's mind is shot. Let's take a look.
We knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way, and I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what you're. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf with you if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie. He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was at 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Never.
But I had, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Okay, let's
not
how
act
many
like
rounds
children.
President Trump, we're going to
21
turn
Let's
rounds.
not act like children.
You
to
are
a
a child.
specific.
If you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want, and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did to Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want.
The media, like I said, has been carrying water for this man, has been pushing nothing but propaganda. We saw the clips over the last couple of weeks how Biden would just freeze up. He was over there in Europe doing a D-Day thing with the other G7 leaders, and the Italian prime minister had to pull him back because he just started wandering, walking off, looking lost. He was doing some type of event with Obama, some type of speech or whatever, and he just froze up. They were in front of a large crowd, and he just stopped moving. So Obama grabbed his hand and walked him off the stage. And the media propaganda is about this. The media said these are cheap fakes, whatever the hell that is. If you're saying that Joe Biden froze up, then you're a liar. This is completely made up, and you guys are just a bunch of conspiracy theorists. Joe Biden is totally healthy, totally fine, running the office perfectly well, and you guys are all lies. This is what the media has been telling us. Leading right up to the debate, days before the debate, the media was sitting there defending Biden, but now they got to change the tune because the cat's out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag. They can no longer hide it. The entire world saw it. Tens of millions of people, probably more than that, tens of millions of people watched this man completely collapse. A complete train wreck is what we saw last night with Joe Biden. So we're going to get into CNN. We're going to get into NBC, some of the more notable propagandas that we see all of the time. Completely trashing this man. The Democrats are in full-blown panic mode because they can no longer hide the lie that they've been pumping up some corpse, and we don't even know who the hell is the real president running the White House. It seems like there has been a coup on the country because these quote-unquote 80 million people who voted for this corpse, they're not even getting the leader that they voted for. Somebody behind the scenes is running this. So let's get into some of the media reactions. Let's look at CNN right after the debate.
That right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible.
But the problem for Biden was that Trump was able to take sometimes incredible falsehoods and turn them into some kind of argument, whereas Biden's answers were, in a lot of cases, not coherent.
That was painful. I love Joe Biden. I work for Joe Biden. He didn't do well at all. He did not do well at all. And he looked, I'll give you the analysis, you kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can. But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now.
There you have it, a full-blown funeral. These guys sat there and mourned for their candidate. They know it's over. They know that they have nobody to replace him. Who you going to put in there? Kamala Harris? You going to put in Gavin Newsom? Gavin Newsom ain't ready for Trump. Gavin Newsom talks so much ish, but he's not ready for this. He ain't ready to jump into the big leagues with Trump. He will get destroyed. Who else you got? Michelle Obama, a desperate bid, trying to basically go around the Constitution and give Barack Obama a third term. Good luck with that. They have nobody on the bench. And remember, they could have had a primary. Actually, they did have a primary. They had Marianne Williamson, RFK Jr. He was in the primary. And he saw that the Democrats were sabotaging their own primary. They rigged their own primary in order to eliminate any opposition, in Democrat opposition. Dean Phillips, he was another one in there. And they basically gave Joe Biden the Democrat nomination. That's their fault. And it looks like that's backfiring on them. They should have replaced Joe Biden months ago. But good luck with that, because now they're stuck with a corpse. So let's look at a couple of other media figures sitting here mourning. People who are full-blown left-wing propagandists, been lying about Trump and carrying water for Biden for years. Let's look at a couple of these guys talking about what happened.
But it all begins with Joe Biden would have to agree to do this. And you don't walk away from these things. They're going to fight. I mean, you feel a little bit of the fight tonight. They're trying to say, look, he was thrown off a little bit at the beginning. I don't know how you're thrown off, that you're surprised that inflation is the first question, but that's their excuse.
Chuck,
maybe that'll be enough to calm the waters. I don't buy it. And I'll tell you this, Tom, I think there are two public Democrats to be watching for and to see if they say anything. Because I think there are two Democrats who, if they went public with this, I don't know if Joe Biden could stop the freight train. One would be Nancy Pelosi, and the other would be Barack Obama.
Well, there certainly is time before Election Day, Tom. There's no doubt about that. But I think what Chuck said hits the nail on the head. There is widespread panic among Democrats. I got a number of text messages this evening, Democrats reaching out to say this is difficult to watch. Where does this go from here?
So there you have it, a funeral live on TV immediately after the debate. These guys know it's over. And we're going to get some poll numbers. It's going to take about a week to really get an assessment on how the public felt. I just talked about Joe Biden closing the gap in Texas. Joe Biden has the national lead. They're roughly neck and neck, but Joe Biden barely edges out Trump in the national polls. Let's see how it looks. People see the indictments going on against Trump, how Biden and his handlers are using the justice system as a weapon against Trump because they can't beat him straight up. And now everybody knows that Joe Biden is a corpse being injected with something because this man is barely alive. So let me know what you guys think about this debate. Anything that I missed about Sleepy Joe, leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Share the video. Thanks for watching.